Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 75 of Rapid Fate Online, and this one's titled Practice Day. Was that the one you were trying to do when you saw my sword drawings in class? He asked meekly. Yes, that's the one. I'm still not very good at it. We could practice tomorrow sometime, he offered. I can be your test subject. Thanks, you said excitedly. That'd be great. I still have a long way to go to controlling my quirk. I understand how you feel, Tamaki said sympathetically. It took me a while to get the confidence to use my quirk. Sometimes it still doesn't come out when I want it to. Well, I can help you practice too, he said with a smile. We're in this together. Okay, he said softly, adding all the ingredients to his broth. Gently he stirred everything in and pulled out 2 bowls to dish out for you both. You hummed, cupping your bowl and carrying it to the kitchen table to eat once he had served you. Sitting down, you both tasted the soup, then dug in. This is so good, you said through mouthfuls. So much flavour. I like working with clams, he replied. They make for good shields and makeshift hammers. Very handy, you mused, eating more. Have you ever used your quirk while, you know? He looked at you, and the look on his face said that he definitely did not know what you were talking about. He had no idea at all. Like, you know, when you're alone in your room and start getting feelings and need to release. It took Tamaki a second, then he caught on, and his form prickled and he blushed, putting the spoon down so that he could hang his head. Sorry, was that too much of a personal question? You asked, seeing how embarrassed it had made him. He shook his head. No, it's just, I have, so... You have? You gasped. To be fair, I would too if I had your quirk, so no shame. You would? He asked. Yeah, of course. That makes me feel much better, he said with relief. I thought it was... Nah, you said with a dismissive hand wave. You're pretty safe with me. Honestly, the conversations I've had with Bestie, anything goes. Tamaki just gave you a look and you chuckled. In her words, anything's a dildo if you're game enough. That's very concerning, he replied with a mortified look. You chuckled. It's okay. So far she hasn't done anything more than voicing it, but I wouldn't put it past her. Don't tell her I told you any of this though. He nodded and kept eating, savouring every mouthful and occasionally making his fist into the clam to show you how big he could make it. You were so proud of him, and so proud of his quirk. The night wore on, and it was getting late, so you thanked him for dinner and left for home, satisfied with the night's proceedings. I'm curious though, you thought as you walked. I know it might be a little weird to ask, but I wonder if he'd use his quirk on me when we're doing it next. I know curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back, right? So... You made it safely home and went to bed, pretty exhausted from the day's activities. The next day at school you had quirk training, which was perfect timing, and you approached Tamaki to be your partner for the training session. Can we practice my quick switch? You asked him. Yes, he nodded, peering out at you from under his fringe. Okay, we might need to go to ground beta, you mused. It's the speed aspect that I want to practice. I have a test in mind that will be good for this. Anything you need, Tamaki said, giving you a small adoring smile as he watched you think hard about how to improve your quirk. You smiled at him, then both went to the teacher to ask if you could go to ground beta to practice. The teacher agreed, and you and Tamaki headed over to the arena to practice your switch. What did you have in mind, Yin? He asked as you walked out into one of the scenes that had been set up in the building. Okay, see the buzzer there? You asked him, pointing to a big red button on a board. He nodded. And see this buzzer here? You asked, pointing to another red buzzer closer to where you stood. He nodded again. Well, I was thinking, if you stand over at that buzzer and I stand at this one, I have to switch with you and then get back to my buzzer here before you can press my buzzer. I'm not sure I follow, he said with a confused look on his face. Okay, let's do a few practice runs, you said. You go and stand by that buzzer over there and I'll stand here at this one. Tamaki nodded and walked over into position while you got to your buzzer. Activating your quirk and looking at him, you then switched places to his buzzer and then switched back and pressed your buzzer. Tamaki looked hella confused as his eyes flicked from you to his buzzer and then back to you again. Okay, I'm going to switch, he said. When you see my buzzer, if you see my buzzer, you have to hit it. I'm going to try and switch so quickly that you don't have time to press the button. Oh, I get it, he replied. Okay, I'm ready. You waited a second and then switched, but just before you could switch back, you heard him press your buzzer. Ugh, you cried as you switched places. I was too slow. This damn quirk, why can't I get faster? Try again, he said from the buzzer. That was already fast. I know you can get quicker. Again, you switched, and then switched back as fast as you could, but he still managed to press your buzzer in that time frame that you had swapped places. Ugh, still not fast enough. I need to get quicker, you muttered to yourself with annoyance. Yen, he asked, do you deactivate your quirk between switches? Yeah, why? You asked. What would happen if you kept your quirk activated the whole time? What if you switched in and switched back without deactivating in between? Would that make it faster? And there ends chapter 75. Stay tuned for chapter 76 coming tomorrow. I do apologise if you heard the doors banging in this house. We have a hella big storm on its way, and I'm trying to get this recording done before we possibly have a blackout. So hopefully this ends up getting loaded tomorrow. Wish me luck. See you then.